All right, I am going to I'm going to touch bases on something that I want people to understand. I truly want people to understand the perspective of, and most of all, I want people to learn from I want people to learn from my situation. And I remember the first time I talked about this, I had a guy pay me $500 and didn't want nothing more than to cry, just cry. He just cried for about 20 minutes and said, "My mom feel about me the same way." So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. Let me get me something to drink. I was out on the road. I had to get my lottery tickets. I kind of had a late start. I probably had about 20 one-on-one consultations. So with all these consultations, I was really I was really making it happen. So we're gonna get this thing going. So let me go get a coin so I can scratch these off and get me something to drink while I rap to you. Hey, hey. All right. What's up, y'all? So I'm a kind of give you guys an understanding on my family, and then it'll give you guys a little bit it'll give you guys a better perspective on where I'm at. When I was younger, I was a mama's boy. My dad, when I used to want to go work with my dad, I ended up working with my dad when I was 6. But it was a lot of times that I wanted to go work with my dad. I couldn't go. So I couldn't go. And because I couldn't go, appreciate those thumbs up, y'all. Because I couldn't go, I was like, okay. So it kind of went like that. So I ended up spending a lot of time with my mom. With my dad, I got a lot, with my dad. But my mother's sister, my Aunt Leah, was my oracle. If I was Neo, my Aunt Leah was my oracle. She was my Morpheus. My mom, sister, my Aunt Leah was my Morpheus. This woman, what's up, Santiago? I see you. When I had issues with the family, I would go talk to my Aunt Leah. And my Aunt Leah says to me one time, she said, Chris, every family has one. She said, it is your job to keep the family together. You are the most successful. It's your job. The funny thing is, I probably was like 24 years old when she told me this. I wasn't 30. My daughter wasn't born yet. And so I've learned to accept that. I accepted. I accepted the fact that I was keeping the family together. As time went on, let me just jump to the fact when my dad died. When my dad died, the family just fell apart. When my dad died, the family just went to trash. The family just the thing with my brother, when my father died, the amazing thing is when I hear people talk about how much, the mother is the rock of the family and all this stuff. When my dad died, it was like there was no structure in the little bit of family that we had. There was none. Call me a knucklehead. So what I did was I took it upon myself to be as my dad would have been. Very well said. Max said all children need a dad in the house. You better believe it. So I was, like I said, I was taking on the role of my dad. And so taking on the role of my dad, I was just doing a lot of things. This is why I ended up taking my brother. This is why in 2016, when my brother got out of prison, he didn't know I was coming to get him. I got out of prison. I drove all the way back up to Jersey. The family this is 2016. The family cashed him out back in the 80s. I was the only one still saying I'm my brother's keeper. My other brother that I don't talk to, when my dad passed away, he told my brother, hey, listen, if you ever got any problems, don't call me. I'm not taking food out of my kid's mouth to help you. He was always a selfish bastard. This is why it is what it is with him and I. So I was always taking care of the family, to include taking care of my mom. And if I could tell you guys this, as me being a single man, me living by myself, me doing everything by myself, what I have to constantly keep doing is what's going on, Roman? What I have to constantly keep asking myself is, or telling myself is, I have to constantly keep checking myself to make sure that I stay balanced. I have to make sure that I don't, one day decide I'm gonna go start having 50 girls in my house, and now I'm just gonna be a hoe. I have to tell myself, because the biggest issue that anybody have, if you are doing things by yourself, if you have absolutely no one there to check you, you can get out of hand quick. So that is the same premise for women. The one thing that women probably don't understand, and they don't want to understand, is it'd probably be a good idea to pair yourself up with a man sooner than later, because women don't have logic. Men, we are y'all sources of logic. With that being said, I won $20. I'll tell you that. I'll take it. $45 and $45. Let me $20. So I got to watch my mom live many years. I got to watch my mom live many years, treat her man like trash. And this is why I want absolutely nothing to do with a black woman that has friends. I watched my mom treat her man, the person she was living with, in the house with her. I watched my mom respect her sisters and allowed her sisters to rob her man, treat her man like trash. And when I questioned my mom about it, her perspective and narrative, the first thing she said when I questioned her was, "Why do you care?" And I said, "Because my mom up and moved to Florida and she's down there by herself. So I'm rooting for this guy. I want somebody there to take care of you." But she didn't say anything other than, "Why do you care?" After the conversation, my mother made the claim, "I'm working on it." The one thing that you hear Black women say a lot, "I'm going to give it to God." When you hear a woman say, "I'm going to give it to God," it's a bunch of nonsense. Appreciate those thumbs up, y'all. When you hear a woman say, "I'm going to give it to God," no, they're not. That means they're not working on it. Don't ever allow a person to tell you, "I'm going to give it to God." I don't need you giving nothing to God. I need you to work on this problem that you have. And the amazing thing is, when that happened back in like 2007, 2006, 2007, 2006, 2007, here it is in 2019, some 12 or 13 years later, this very situation that my mom claimed, "I'm going to work on it," now reared its ugly head. Now it's my turn to feel her wrath. Now it's my turn for her to talk to me and treat me like trash. So y'all know, as I tell individuals, that organization behind me to my left, your right, I started this organization. Now, before I get to the just of starting the organization behind me to my left, your right, I'm going to tell y'all this, like I always tell y'all. There's a woman that has an attitude, so much to the point she started an organization called MAD. And the name of the woman is Candy Lightner. Candy Lightner started the organization Mothers Against Drunk Driving. She started this organization because her child was killed by a drunk driver. So the acronym MAD is fitting. Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. Yeah, all day. There's another individual that you know named John Walsh. John Walsh started America's Most Wanted, The Hunt, and a host of other catch a criminal shows because his son was kidnapped and decapitated. So he made a pledge in his life to catch criminals. Christopher Smith, the guy that you're looking at, went through a situation where a woman just said, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to just come up with a lie on a father and I'm going to just lie to the courts to keep him away from his daughter. I'm going to just lie." So I went to law school and I started that business behind me to my left, your right, the League of Dad and the National Fathers League, the NFL. You would think, if you're thinking, you would think that, oh, we won it. We hit another one. Number 34. Oh, we won $40. Number 34. Then my winning number, 34. So $40 ticket. So you would think that a mother would say, "I'm proud of my son. You know, my son, through all this stuff, he kept his cool and he didn't go upside this woman's head. He educated himself," because this is what my mom always taught me. My mom always taught me, "Son, you're tall, you're 6'1", you're a big dude. You demand presence when you walk in a room. You have to beat them another way." So I always made sure that I knew when you seen me, I had you via image. I knew I had the intimidation. I knew when you seen these shoulders, you were going to say, "Oh, no, I don't think I want it with him." At 56 years old, this is why I still look the way I look. Follow me. But I knew that I couldn't navigate myself through life scaring people with my looks. The beautiful thing about this noggin is I was always a nerd. Always a nerd. What's going on, Deshaun? He's up in this. I was always a nerd. So because I was a nerd, I was always, I always put myself in a position I appreciate that, man. You the second one that told me that. My man Deshaun said, great stream yesterday. My man, I appreciate that. So my mom always told me, you got to beat people with your intellect. You can't beat people with intimidation as a black man. So I always made sure when I responded to people, I never responded in a way that was intimidating. I always responded very low key. I always responded with some type of riddle. Hey, listen, my man, I'm gonna tell you like this. It might be tomorrow, it may have been yesterday, but today ain't your day. Little things like that, like, oh, okay, man. Hey, listen, man, it's not a good idea to pick a fight with a fighter. These are all my sayings. When it's about to go down, I help an individual understand. It's not happening, bro. Right? So that is how I'm navigating myself through life. So you would think that taking your mom's advice, did this thing fall off? Hold on, where'd it go? Oh, okay. You would think, there you go. You would think that your mom would be proud of the fact that instead of, a woman not allowing you to see your child and putting you through a bunch of nonsense, you would think that your mom would say, I'm proud of my son. He went and educated himself. He went to school, educated himself. Now he's winning. And he's using his brain. He ain't get locked up. He ain't do none of that. You would think your mom would be proud of that. Mom said, oh no. Oh no. There's no way you're going to make videos talking about black women. There's no way you can't talk about black women. So for that, it caused some animosity with my mom and I, unbeknownst to me. People, I'm going to tell you something. There's a term called I had to take a step back. I'm here to tell you, you may have said the term, but you never ever put it's very seldom and very rare that you was truly in a situation where you literally had to take a step back. You do just that. You take a step back. When my mom and I was talking on that day back in May of 2019, I had to take a step back. She was giving me so much demonic energy. I had to take a step back. I literally took a step back. It is the only time in my life where I had to take a step back. If you've seen the movie Blade, I think it was Blade 2, and his man made this thing that he put on his hand, and Blade, when he fight, he was like pop, pop, pop. Oh! And then when he punched, this garlic injector shell came out of this thing and pumped inside the vampire that he was fighting. And Blade was like, pop, pop, pop. Ah! And then the thing took it, and then it was morphed. It was morphing. Then it was like, and Blade was like, he took a step back. Blade was like, what? He took a step back. When you truly go through something in your life, when you have to literally take a step back, I promise you, it's life-changing. When my mom was talking to me like absolute pure grade A trash on that day back in May of 2019, I didn't know who that person was I was talking to. I had no idea who that person was. I felt nothing but a demonic spirit talking to my mom. The unfortunate thing for my mom, is in 2019, I was 50 years old in 2019. I was 50 years old. And the one thing that I said to myself when I turned 50 years old is I am no longer going to deal with people based on family, a title. I will now deal with people based on what they do. So it no longer matters. It no longer matters what you do. If you do something to me, I'm going to handle it based on what you do. Family will not get no more go easy on them coupons. I got rid of all my go easy on me coupons. I got rid of them. So when I went to go see my mom, and she was adamant She was adamant about talking to me like trash and telling me. I said, Mom, I'm trying to tell you. I mean, if you say this, if you have to talk about women, every woman knows, everybody knows that the unfortunates of the way this world is going, every time the generation turns over, we lose something. Everybody knows that. There isn't a woman that is 80 years old that the worst class woman that's 80 years old got more class, probably got more class than the highest 20-year-old. It's the class just lose. It just loses, right? So my mom and I, the situation is heated. And I remember telling my mom, saying to my mom, and I quote, Mom, it's not women of your generation. It's women of my generation. So what? I got nieces and I'm sure they ain't like that. So you're coming at me with all this fury, with all this hate, with this demonic spirit, and you had a front row seat to watch all the stuff that I've been through. You got to watch the fact, hey, listen, I did a video about this earlier. This is why I decided to do it in a live stream, because I didn't have enough memory in the phone and it cut off. But I wanted to off myself twice. I wanted to just say, you know what? I'm out of here. Y'all would never believe as to the reason as to why I didn't off myself. It's gonna be crazy. You know the reason why I didn't off myself? Why I didn't pull out my joint and put two in the back of my own head? Anybody? My father. I truly thought that if I was to kill myself, my dad would beat my ass in the afterlife. That's the only reason why. They had nothing to do with God. It had nothing to do with the Bible. I didn't want my dad to be mad at me. Sound crazy, right? I said, here's a man that taught me everything that I know. And then I'm going to go clock out like a bitch and off my own life. So that's the only reason why I didn't do it. But my mom, who had a front row seat to watch this tear me apart, listen to me say, I don't have no purpose. I don't have my daughter in my life. I don't have no purpose. Know all this. And then say, you know what? In all essence, what you going through. You're talking about something that offend my nieces. Wow. I thought I was your son. When did the love for the mother jump over the son and goes to the nieces? That's what I realized. If I can go sidebar for a second, that's when I realized, and I said to myself, I wants nothing to do with a black woman to have friends. What I've learned from the sisterhood, this black woman cult, they don't really care nothing about black men. As long as a black man is on the receiving end of the destruction, as long as a black man is on the back end, as long as a woman is free and in the clear. No, let me back that up. As long as a man is on the receiving end of the wrongdoing executed by the sisterhood, a woman will completely be exempt from all said actions. And no matter what she does, it is a valid reason. As my mom herself told me, a woman will never do nothing to a man unless he deserves it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I said that wrong. A woman would never do nothing to a man if he didn't deserve it. Yeah. I want y'all to process that for a second. Process that for a second. According to my mother, everything that a woman in history that has been done to a man, he deserves it. According to my mom. This is why I will never speak to my mom again. I don't know what happened after the umbilical cord was cut. I don't know what happened. But what you're not going to do is sit down there, and I was helping you pay your bills. I was helping you live your life because you went down there, you sat on your ass all your life and went down there to Social Security, and they said you wasn't going to make enough. I said, I got you, Mom. Your nieces ain't say they had you. Your son did. Your son was returning the love that you gave him. But instead, you said, the sisterhood says, the man. The man. The man. You said something about a black woman? No, sir. I get a call, hey, man, she in the hospital. You telling me for? No, sir. No, sir. What's going on, Les? No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Nope. Not happening. Not happening. Nope. Let me tell y'all something. Let me go left for a second. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I was talking to an individual a week or two ago, and I had to tell that individual, your perspective and narrative on you're never going to say nothing bad about a black woman. I told her, you sound just like my mom. She didn't think so. I said, no, that's exactly how my mom thinks. You'll never say nothing bad about a black woman. I had to tell her. That makes you dangerous. Yeah, that makes you dangerous. You know how many times I help clients that is going to court. It's a black woman. Let me let y'all in on some insight. Got a client that I'm helping down in South Carolina. The judge is black, a black female. Of course, his girlfriend is black. His baby mama is black. Her attorney is a black woman, and the bailiff is a black woman. So he goes to court. Every time he says something, they laughing, this and all that. It's a game. He amongst the mist. I draft him up a paperwork. Nope, you ain't paying child support, blah, 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 blah. File this exhibit with your stuff. Boom. He goes back to court. I didn't get nothing. He said, I got my copy right here. She adjourns, go get the copy. She reads the motion that he filed because they don't believe fathers. This is why I tell individuals, you need to do a consultation with us. But he goes to court, and the judge didn't think that he filed a motion because they just don't think us fathers are capable. But that's what this organization is for. Behind me to my left, you're right. That's what I do. I help make sure y'all be right. I'm getting off topic. So he goes in there. The judge gets his paperwork, reads it, and she wants to deny his motion. Not deny it from the perspective of done. She said, I don't believe this. I don't believe you. I want you back in here, and I want this. Well, he called me up. I've drafted up a motion. We don't care what you don't. We don't care what you believe. We don't do this for you. You're a judge. You're supposed to judge what I bring in here, not believe it or not. If it's not real, then I understand that I'm saying that a doctor is doing this, and that's fraud. I'm lying on this doctor. And if that's the case, that's got nothing to do with you. This is what it is. If you want me to go back to work, put it in a motion, and I'll go back to work. And I want to just go left when I say this. I got people listening. If a judge ever orders you back to work, make sure it's in the motion. And here's what I would like you to do. I would like for you to go test drive a car and run it into a school bus. And then when they say, why are you doing this? Say, hey, the judge ordered me back to work, but I'm taking these, I'm taking these meds. It's, they're liable. I want to do a consultation with me. That's a terrible example because you go test drive. I told my clients go buy a car, but I'm telling y'all, but put yourself in a situation where you just do something real drastic. And that motion, that order that they said you got to do this because I don't believe your medical situation. Okay, now you're liable. And she didn't do it. Listen, after I drafted up that motion, she was all Miss Independent Judge, and I turned her into a good bitch. That's what I do here, by the way. Yeah, I do that. You know, y'all keep believing judges got the power. No, I don't. I'll never believe that. Anyway, so my mom showed me. My mom showed me that she don't give 2 cents about her own son. She don't. By saying, so what? I got nieces and I'm sure they ain't like that. You're not positively, you're not, you're sure they're not. You're not certain. But in addition, why are you sticking up for your nieces? I'm your son. When does the love from the mother jump over her sons and go to the nieces? It's like that when you're a black man. So this is what I want to tell all you black men out there listening. I don't give a fuck what you think. You can be married, or I got a strong black woman by my side. You can believe that bullshit if you want to. They are all connected to the sisterhood. All of them. They're all connected to the sisterhood. All of them. All of them. I got hey, listen, I got individuals watching over here on Dash Traded. I just rushed, Negro, please. Y'all gonna have to come over here to Dash Traded for child support because the battery is gonna go dead. Now I'm sorry, but I told y'all when I started, if you was here, I just jumped on here because I was late. So I'm gonna finish this over here on Dash Traded before the battery go dead and I can't shut the live off. So